What I do think is interesting is the speed at which the Doge, whether it's you blame Elon Musk or credit Elon Musk for Doge's impacts in the economy, the fact is that there's a lot of attention to those government. I mean, the U.S. government and government organizations that are recipient of U.S. tax dollars is a massive part of our economy. Something like 35% of GDP is tied to direct or indirect spending of government spending. And so when you start pulling back and threatening that entire system, you're going to have some slowdown. And we've known this from the freight data that we saw during the initial COVID surges, is as the government was putting these programs into place to create stimulus, it shows up in the freight data really quick. Whether it was PPP or the COVID stimulus bills, those dollars show up really quick. And so one of the things I'm really watching is this a lot of noise? Like Doge has certainly come out and talked about these programs and the dollars. When you talk about $50-60 billion, feels like a lot. When you look at the size and scope of the U.S. budget, it isn't a lot. But what is happening, I think, is creating some, if you're running an organization that is dependent upon some level of government spending, you're probably operating pretty cautious. And I think that's going to create a drag. And then consumer confidence, that
Sure.
those people that work in those businesses also. And it's not just the federal government. It's all, it's states that are dependent upon federal funding. It's local municipalities. It's nonprofit NGOs. It's even for-profit companies. It's anybody that has government. So I run a business at Firecrown where we own a bunch of train magazines. One of the primary advertisers in these train magazines are railroad history museums that sort of feature the Western expansion tied to the railroads. A lot of those museums are dependent upon grants from the federal government, some historical preservation grants. We have seen those advertisers pull back sharply due to either losing funding or the threat of losing funding, and they're going into sort of a bunker mode of trying to just protect whatever resources they have. That is certainly going to drag things. I don't know how big the number is, and I think it's too early to know. What we do know is that freight has slowed down in February.